Hello everyone. Um, Today I want to do something a little bit different. For now, I am just warming up because I have not spoke on the microphone. I haven't commentated my gameplay in days, even medicated. I'm still struggling with doing certain things I want to do, mostly related to gaming, strangely enough. And um, I wanted to express how I am feeling, what changed in my life in the time I have been being medicated for ADHD. So before I actually comment on what changed in my life, I wanted to briefly, or maybe not so briefly, talk about how my life was before I even knew I had ADHD. The first thing, and probably the thing that made me the most stressed and hopeless regarding my life, was my inability to make progress, make significant progress in the development of my game. I have been making a game, it's called Pokémon, for what, 5 years, and it's nowhere near the point where I can release it. And there is a few reasons for that, mostly related to ADHD. One of the reasons is that when I am not medicated, I struggle a lot with sticking to activities. It doesn't matter if it is an activity I like and want to do, or if it's an activity I have to do, like work. I just can't do it for long. And he didn't see me. Okay. And that was very stressing because it doesn't take 5 years to make a game, a simple RPG slash horror game. Even though I am working mostly alone, and yeah, it takes time if you are working alone, I should have made way more progress than that. And I couldn't, because, partially at least, because I couldn't sit on my chair and work for a significant amount of time in a daily basis. I could work like once a week, twice a week, and it's just not enough, to finish a game. The fact my game is somewhat ambitious certainly doesn't help. But yeah, the other reason I couldn't finish or make progress in the game, in my opinion, it is related to ADHD, is how much I struggle to know what I care about, what I like, what I dislike, who I am as a person, It's just very difficult for me because I don't know how ADHD works for other people, but for me, one of the main, more noticeable aspects of ADHD is the constant, I call them voices, but the constant thoughts in my mind, and the thoughts make me question everything, what I like. Okay, let me give you Ghostface. Let me give you an example. Dead by Daylight. I met this game in 2021, June 2021, and I really enjoyed the idea of a multiplayer game where you can play as horror monsters and characters from horror media, and I really wanted to play more and more of the game, but a combination of being unable to stick to things and my brain constantly making me self-doubt if I really liked this game or not, if I even liked horror, which is strange, and you will know why in a bit. Oh boy. Yeah, it's very difficult to, it was very difficult for me to know who I was, what I cared about. In the past 10 years, I went through many phases. A phase where I wanted so badly to play and interact with Super Smash Bros. To the point I even made an account on the Smash Bots forum. If you are part of the Smash community, the online community at least, and you know someone in the forum who goes by the name Hela Nemo or Hela, that's me. And oh, he died. And turns out I do not like Smash that much. I do not have the profile to play a game like Super Smash Bros. Or any fighting game. But that's not something I could easily realize without the meds, you know? It was very difficult for me to understand my thoughts, understand that just because I am excited about something I saw on YouTube, just because I'm hyping something, it doesn't mean I need to be part of that something. And it's not just Smash Bros, it's many other things. I mean, I have many games on Steam that I haven't played because at some point I was hyped to play the game, but eventually I was no longer hyped. And games in general, I really struggle with. I'll get into that a little bit later. But the point I was trying to make is that I kept changing my game all the time. I learned a little bit of Godot engine, because at some point I thought I wanted to make a platformer. At some point I wanted to make something like the old school Super Nintendo and Game Boy Legend of Zelda games. At some point I wanted to make a visual novel, which by the way my game kind of is right now. But the point is, I changed the idea a lot because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was too easily influenced by hype, by what other people were saying, and so on. That's one of the things that was basically a constant in my life for the past 10 years. Another thing which is heavily related to what I just said is that I basically wasn't living, the past few years, especially from 2019 to just a few months ago. They are basically a blur in my mind. I can tell you anything significant that happened to me in my life, and I'm not talking about the world. I'm not talking about a certain pandemic or politics or what games or shows or whatever were released. I'm talking about the actions I took for me, for my life. There is nothing, zero. I didn't live, and I was terribly scared of another decade going by, another decade going by where I didn't live, where I watched people live, I watched the world move, while I stayed in bed like some sort of oversized meat plushie, some sort of cursed decoration in my bed, in my room. So I started looking for help. I thought maybe I had some sort of deficiency in terms of vitamins or something, maybe I had some disease, and yeah, ADHD is basically a disease, but I wasn't thinking about a mental disorder, a disease of that kind. I was thinking about something below the neck, something related to, I don't know, maybe even sleep apnea, which I might have, but I still don't know. I have to have a sleep study made. Anyways, that was awful. I tried many things. I tried going back to Smash Bros. I tried buying a second Nintendo Switch after selling the first. Didn't make a difference because I really don't care about Nintendo games. I don't want to play Smash Bros. I don't want to play, I like Kirby, but I don't like Kirby enough to support Nintendo as a company. I really don't like Nintendo very much, but that's beside the point. And I tried streaming Dead by Daylight in 2021, I'm sorry. You may have noticed I'm not a native English speaker. I tried, believe me, I tried many things. including changing my game all the time, because maybe the problem was with my ideas. I tried, but nothing worked. Time passed, and from 2019, the second half of 2019 to just 2 months ago, I basically did not exist. I wasn't a person. I was a ghost haunting the world of the living. Third point, I lost most of my friends. I was never a person with many friends, but I almost lost the one friend I have, and I wasn't making any new friends, because I say I was, but I still am in a way, if I'm not medicated, if I'm not sticking to the new habits I am trying to build. It's not like, who is the killer? Oh my god. It's not like I am cured. I am just medicated. Ghost face again? Seems like it's ghost face again. So yeah, I am not cured. I mean, anyone who is familiar with ADHD knows that there is no cure. We are lucky medicine exists. So I was terrified of spending my entire life is going to get me. Sorry, my brother was here. I was terrified of never being able to live my life, and of ending up alone, completely alone, because I was slowly losing all of the connections I had, and even the connections I didn't lose. It's a little painful to admit, but I haven't been a good friend the past few years. I haven't been a good friend at all. And that's something I wanted to change, but I really struggled. And don't get me wrong, not everything is about ADHD. There are things I am mentioning here that are more a testament about my character that needs some improvement. Everyone can improve. I'm no different. But having ADHD untreated certainly didn't make things easier for me. And yeah, maybe I'll get back to this topic. Oh, it's Wesker. 1 second. Oh no, I got stuck. I really need to improve my looping in Dead by Daylight. Okay, so while I am hooked, I'm going to keep talking about what I was talking. Oh. Yeah, I think we lost this match. Anyways, I might go back to the friends point a little bit later. But for now, I want to mention something different. The fourth point. You may have realized, but this video isn't scripted. I made a few bullet points, but I haven't actually wrote a script because I feel like it's more natural to just speak what I am feeling. So yeah, one of the things, another thing that was extremely common in my life before and when not medicated is lack of impulse control. Basically, Wesker again? What? Hey, Wesker? I would it's hard to talk while being chased. Give me 1 second. I will probably edit the video to cut off the parts where I am not speaking anything useful. And we basically lost this match. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I mentioned buying some games. No, I mentioned changing my game a lot, and that's because I was easily influenced by hyping other stuff. So I also ended, because I didn't know exactly who I was, what I wanted to do, who I was, both as a professional and as a person with hobbies. I ended up spending a lot of money in games, mainly in games. Okay, now that I died, I can speak again. For example, in the past few years, let's say in the past 10 years, I had, I hope it's your recording. Okay, I had 2 Nintendo Switch, 1 PS4, a PS Vita, 2, maybe 3 3DSs, and I have none of that anymore. Everything was sold because I wasn't buying stuff because I wanted to. It wasn't something, it wasn't genuine. It wasn't, how do I put it? It wasn't something I deliberated, thought about carefully before purchasing. And to make things worse, some of those consoles were gifts, and that supports what I just said before. I haven't been a very good friend at all. But yeah, and not to take away all of the blame, not to put all of the blame on ADHD, but like I said, it was very difficult to think about anything, to understand myself. I just couldn't. And that coupled that alongside my lack of impulse control meant I had many consoles I never really enjoyed. And more importantly, maybe I overate every day, every single day, because I don't know if it's closely related to ADHD. I think it is. I think I was in a rush for dopamine. I think the only thing that made me feel good for some reason was eating. So I gained from 2019 to 2 months ago. I gained over 20 kilos, which is a lot. I'm not sure how much that is in pounds, but it's a lot. And I'm not going to get into how things changed after taking meds yet, but a little bit of a spoiler, but I no longer eat as much as I used to. I'm not overeating anymore. Quite the opposite. Well, quite the opposite is not fair, because it's not like I am starving myself. I am eating healthier, one step at a time. And yeah, I think if I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD, if my life hadn't changed because of medication and my efforts, in 2 years, maybe less than that, I would be morbidly obese. My life would be in a very sorry state. I'm not fat shaming or anything. It's just because reaching that level of fat wouldn't come without other consequences, you know? I think more than gaining more and more weight, the fact I wouldn't be able to finish my game. I would keep changing it all the time, changing ideas, changing the genre, the gameplay genre, from RPG to platformer to whatever, and I would not be able to get anywhere. And trigger warning, but on suicide. But around 2012, I did try to take my life. I tried to rage quit life, and it was the darkest part of my life, and I really don't feel like going back to that darkness, you know. I do write horror, I write about sad things, I write about things that aren't quite wholesome, but I don't want my life to be filled with darkness. You know, I want to be happy. And that kind of concludes the section of the video where I talk about my life before. In short, my life before sucked. It was awful. Awful. And I'm sorry for making you watch some random player playing Dead by Daylight, but I thought it was better for me to talk, because clearly I wasn't being able to talk while Wesker chased me. But yeah, I'll try better next time. The next section of the video is how my life is now, the things that change and the things that are still changing. And I will see you in a bit. Hi again. It has been about 5 minutes since I finished talking about my life before medication. For you, which probably has been 5 seconds, I don't know, because hopefully I did not forget to edit this video. Please tell me I didn't forget to edit the video. Anyways, enough stalling. The first bullet point I wrote, it's about my game, and I kid you not, in what, a month, a little bit of over a month, maybe 40 days at most, I have made more progress in my game than I made in 2 years, at least 2 whole years. And that's why, and the reason why is because I can identify what I want to make. I can identify what I like, you know, and because I can get up from my bed, sit on my chair, and work. Not for 5 minutes before I am yawning, super tired. Because yeah, if you do not have ADHD, and I do realize a lot of people have, I realize that people who have ADHD experience it differently. At least for me, it can cause literal physical pain to do something my brain doesn't want to do. It's almost a paradox. It doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, if you ignore the fact ADHD tends to be something about the chemicals in the brain, stuff I don't claim to understand, it doesn't make sense to want to do something and at the same time be unable to do something. I mean, I have a brain that technically works. I have two arms, 2 hands, 2 eyes, everything works, and I couldn't do anything, you know. But now, and that was such a big surprise to me because I didn't notice. There was one day in particular that I worked for 8 hours. You know, the time regular people work, at least where I live, 8 hours. And I could have worked more, but I was a little bit tired. But I did, you know, and because I am working for longer, for many hours, and well, seems like the one you gave up. Since I am working longer hours, and every day, or mostly every day, I didn't work a lot yesterday. Yesterday for me is October 13, 30, not 13, 30. The day before Halloween, I did not work a lot because the day before, I didn't sleep too well and I was very tired. So I just watched a movie with my brother. It was Soul X, by the way, very good film, one of the best in the series. But okay, back to the point. I can do stuff, you know. I'm still struggling with games, with playing games. I will get to that later in this video, but I can work, and I can't show you, I can't prove it to you right now, but the progress I have made in my game is I am in love with my game now. The past few months in special, I was starting to hate my game because it seemed like it would never leave the status of being an idea. It would forever be an idea, unfinished, unrealized. But now it's different. I am making progress. I have been able to because what I am focusing right now in the development of my game, and I do realize this isn't a devlog, but I have to say it. I am focusing on fixing the mess that I made in the past few years. I told you before, I changed things way too many times in my game because I didn't know myself. It was like there were 10 people in my brain wanting to make a different game. So I am fixing the mess, and the game that exists, the story, the characters, the setting that exists, buried beneath the mess. What can I say? I love it. You know, I don't know if other people will love it. Maybe it's going to be one of the 20,000 games that sold nothing on Steam. Maybe I will be rich. Maybe I will be the Toby Fox of horror games. What do I know? But I do know that... What is that? I do know that I am working when I am medicated, at least. And 1 second, because I am being chased by a monster. Get out! Get away from me! And that ability to sit and work is not exclusive to working. I wonder what she's doing. That ability is not exclusive to working. I can also... okay. You know what? I'm going to do a generator. If you don't play Dead by Daylight, I'm sorry, because I am kind of mixing up my thoughts about my life in ADHD and my thoughts about the game right now. But yeah, I can sit and read a manga, I can watch some anime, I can do stuff, you know. I'm not a prisoner of my brain, so to speak. And that's something new to me. It's different. I'm getting used to it because, man, you need to have ADHD, at least the kind of ADHD I have, to understand how awful it is to be unable to do the things you want to do. I think I mentioned that I can feel physical pain when not medicated before, mainly before I started taking medication. When I had to do something that I didn't want to do, or or something that actually I said that wrong. It's not that would feel pain for doing something I didn't want to do. I would feel physical pain for doing something I wanted to do or something I needed to do. That is gone with the medication. But it's important to note that it's not like I want to do everything just because I am medicated. It's not like I find things, it's not like things I thought were boring are now fun to me. Some things I thought were boring, I actually like. Some things I just don't like, and I couldn't be sure of that before because ADHD. And it's just a good feeling being able to do stuff without abandoning the hobby or the activity altogether. Let me give you an example. And it's a very easy example to give because you are looking at it Dead by Daylight. I mentioned before I first played it in 2021. Like the idea of the game, like the game. It was not perfect, it's much better now. There was a lot more toxicity back in the day. But even if it were the perfect game, I know I would have given up on playing it simply because I did not have the ability to stick to things, you know. And that brings me to my next topic. This one hurts me a little because for so long I tried to understand who I was. By the way, I am playing really badly right now. I wanted to know who I was, but I couldn't. I couldn't understand myself. I couldn't wait a minute. Let me finish the chase and I will explain what I mean. I did not expect to survive. I kind of sacrificed my team, but I did 2 gems, so 2 generators, so it's not like I didn't do my part. Okay. Back to the point. You know, I have been a fan. Well, I have engaged with the Pokemon series since 1999 or 2000, and I was about to say I am a fan, but I'm no longer a fan of Pokemon for reasons unrelated to this talk. But the point is, for as long as I engaged with Pokemon from, let's say, 2000 to the year Pokemon X and Y, no, the year Pokemon Sun and Moon were released, 2016 I think, I engaged with the series and I couldn't figure out, decide, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't tell you what my favorite Pokemon was. That's because I didn't have an identity. I didn't know who I was as a person. You know, like many people you can ask, what's your favorite manga? They might tell you, oh, it's Jujutsu Kaisen, it's Berserk, it's Dragon Ball Z, you know, or it's some obscure horror manga most people here in the West have never heard about, and they will probably be able to tell you why they like it if you ask them what manga or game you don't like. They will tell you what they don't like and probably be able to tell why they don't like it. That's not the case for me. That I couldn't decide what Pokemon I liked the most. I mean, I knew I liked Ghost type Pokemon, I knew I liked Bug type Pokemon, you know, but one specific Pokemon, nope. That was basically impossible for me. Why? I can only make guesses. I am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a neurologist, but I think it's because for many, maybe for all people with ADHD, there is this constant influx of thoughts and voices. I call them voices, but it's not like I am hearing. It's not like I am literally hearing voices with my ears, you know. They are thoughts, but they don't feel like my thoughts. That's what I mean. And every time I tried to make a list, like a simple top 10, back when we had 500 Pokemon instead of 1,000, I couldn't. No, I couldn't, even when we had only 151 generation 1 or 200 and something generation 2. I couldn't. And that might sound silly. You might think, well, it's just Pokemon, who cares? I cared because, especially when I was a teenager and a young adult. By the way, I am on my early 30s right now. when I was younger, I was trying to know who I was, and Pokemon was part of my identity, and I couldn't define myself. Okay, let's ignore Pokemon for a moment, because it does sound a little silly. Music. I have listened to all kinds of music, except some stuff like death metal. It's not usually my kind of music because it's too noisy, too much screaming. I can and have listened to hybrids with music with some elements of death metal. Anyways, when I was a teenager, I had favorite bands, but or harder, I had bands I listened to, but I didn't have the confidence to call them favorites, you know? One of the bands I have listened to the most as a teenager was a Japanese band called The Gazette. I'm not sure how to pronounce in the way Japanese people pronounce, because I haven't listened to that band for a long time. Not because I don't like it anymore. I do. The reason I don't listen to it is because it brings me memories from a time I don't really want to remember, basically. I think they call it Gazeto, probably. Anyways, now with some peace of mind, with a mind that has room to breathe, to think without a million voices screaming together, I can look back at me when I was 16 to when I was 22, 23, and I can say with confidence, Gazeto was one of my favorite bands. You know, Disturbed was and still is one of my favorite bands. But now I can tell you that Gengar is probably my favorite Pokemon. I can tell you that I like Butterfree a lot, but it's not a favorite. And I think that's enough Pokemon for the video. But you get the point. I couldn't even decide on what kind of clothing I liked. The reason I couldn't finish the game, make progress with the game I was just talking about, especially because I didn't know what I wanted to do, who I am. How do you make art? How do you make a game? How do you write a story by yourself based on your preferences, on what you like, on what you value, on what you care about, when it's so difficult to reach what you care about inside your mind? You know, deep inside, even before I knew I had ADHD, I had some idea of what I liked, but the noise made it so difficult to find myself, you know. If you are watching this video, if you are confused about anything I am saying, I will be happy to explain better. You know, if you think you have ADHD, I am not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose you, but I can talk to you if you want to. You know, it was talking to people that made me consider. You know, my endo, she suggested I could have TDAH, which is ADHD, where I live. And I will be forever grateful to her for opening introducing the idea to me, you know. Okay, but back to the lack of identity. Give me 1 second because I need to do something here. What am I going to play here? One thing I'm going to talk soon is about my lack of about how I don't confront my anxiety. And part of that anxiety doesn't let me play as killer in Dead by Daylight, the game you are looking at. So I was considering trying out right now while I talk about my ADHD. Maybe I will. Let me see. I'll probably cut some of the video so I don't bore you to death. Okay, so I think I am going to play one match as a killer. Prepare to see me, to watch me be botched by the survivors. I am very anxious right now, but okay. I will try. Okay, so back to the what I was talking about, the lack of identity. Yeah, I mentioned I couldn't figure out what kind of Pokemon I liked, what kind of music I really liked, even clothing, you know, even other stuff like, do I want to use Windows or Linux? Today I know that I want to use Linux. Sadly, I am making a game with RPG Maker MV. It doesn't work well on Linux. It's advertised as working on some distros of Linux, but the reality, it doesn't work for me. I couldn't figure out why, and I'm back to Windows. The bright side is that Dead by Daylight also doesn't work well on Linux, so yeah, I wanted to play Dead by Daylight as well. And here I am. I know, like I told you, I like Kinger. I don't know what other Pokemon I like because I don't engage with Pokemon that much anymore. I could make a video if you are interested for some reason. I mean, you don't even know me, but if you are interested in hearing my thoughts on Pokemon, I might make that video. What else? What? Oh, I almost forgot. I have bullet points. Yeah, I wrote here that even though I am starting to learn who I am and what I care about, I still have anxiety, which if you were with me right now, you would see how anxious I am right now just because I am going to play killer. I am absolutely terrified, scared, but it's not fair for me to live my whole life controlled by fear. I mean, I write horror, you know. I am supposed to make other people scared, not to be scared myself. And that just made me cringe. Embrace the cringe. Embrace the cringe. Embrace the cringe. Let me see if it is still recording. Yes. Okay. So, one thing that I realized I really do, and pardon my French, I really do fucking love is horror. What a surprise. I have been engaging with horror since 1998, maybe 1999, something like that, when for some reason, I can't tell you how or why, I was able to rent the VHS. By the way, if you are too young and don't know what a VHS is a tape with stuff like a film, a TV show, whatever. It's what we used before CDs, no, before DVDs, and after DVDs came Blu-rays and blah blah blah. This isn't a story about technology. That's why technology connections, that channel exists. The point is, I watched Scream, the original Scream, when I was a kid, and I loved it. I still love that film. It's not my favorite piece of horror media. It's not my horror film. It's not my favorite horror film. And although I still love the series, I watched Scream 6 3 days ago, I think. But yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise that the genre I loved as a kid is something I really, really do love. I can't find a survival. Hello. Man, it's so dark. And it's so difficult to aim. Come here. Gotcha. So yeah, oops. So yeah, I do very much like horror media. I need to find a hook. And I'm very glad I am a little bit more confident about my likes and dislikes. Right now I am exploring what kind of horror media I like and want to engage the most with. I know for sure that I like cosmic horror, which is very, very difficult to do well. Case in point, I like Junji Ito a lot. Oh man, I can't forget to reload. What is the here? I don't want to tunnel her. It's a little difficult to talk about the ADHD thing right now. When I am chasing someone. Okay, please jump the window. Gosh. I still like I still like slashers. I still love slashers, but oops. Yeah, I told you I'm not very good playing killer. But actually I am somehow. It's a surprise to me. I am actually having fun. I just realized they did 4 generators already. And I'm not hitting enough. I'm not hitting enough knives to activate my power. No, don't enter the void. I still can't activate my power. I'm sorry. I should be talking more about the ADHD stuff. But I don't think I'm going to cut this part of the video. Can I not break it? Break it. I'm going to let her live. No reason to kill her or try to. So yeah, horror. What else? Yeah, the fact I love horror shouldn't be a surprise. I did choose to make this video playing Dead by Daylight, but when when I wasn't medicated, it wasn't so easy. I thought I loved platformers, I thought I loved RPGs, I thought I loved I thought for a time I had this 1 second. Okay. It wasn't so bad playing killer. That's the thing about anxiety. It's more the anticipation of the thing you are scared about than the thing itself. At least that's how it is to me. But yeah, I did say I really like horror. I lost my train of thought, but I watched Scream when I was a kid, and I think I watched. I am almost sure I watched The Exorcist as well. And when I was like 11 or 12, I was able to get my hands on Final Destination. Final Destination was a few steps above Scream in terms of, I don't know, gore. So and Scream does have a few extreme deaths, but not so much the first. I'm not going to bore you talking for hours on why I love horror. I will bore you with that talk in another video, but not in this one. But here's a few things I tried during the past 10 years. I mentioned Smash Bros before. I tried to go back to platformers because just like horror was a big part of my life, has been a big part of my life since Scream, platformers have been a part of my life since 1995. My first game was Sonic the Hedgehog, a platform. I played Super Mario World, Mega Man 7, X4, X5, X6. I played so many platformers. If you are not from the generation, the Super Nintendo generation, even I am not, because when I got a Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1 was already in the market. You know, I'm not. To make things clear, I was born in 1990. I am 33 years old. Okay? Okay. But in that generation, there were a lot of platformers. So in my confusion in the past 10 years, I tried to go back to platformers. I engaged with the Kaizo Mario scene. I didn't like it, but tried to force myself to like it. I mean, the level design, the creativity, the fact in 2023 there are people making hacks for a game that came in 1991, I think. That's incredible to me, like holy crap. I love it. But I couldn't realize the fact I don't want to play games for the challenge. I mean, some challenge is fun. I do like Dark Souls. And I know Dark Souls is memed for being super difficult. Let's be honest, Dark Souls is not that difficult. The developers gave the players a billion ways to make the game as easy as they want it to be. It's not difficult. Don't lie to yourself. But the point is, I do like some challenge, and I don't know who the killer is, and I am scared. Yeah, I like challenge, but not to the point of challenge being the point of the game. And more importantly, I wasn't feeling platforming, you know. pure platforming. I mean, I still like platforming, but something more basic, like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a game that has a million qualities, a billion qualities. Like, even with ADHD, with no medication, I played Hollow Knight from beginning to end in 2 days. You know how ADHD people have sessions sometimes? Yeah, that was one of my obsessions. I really love Hollow Knight. I love Shovel Knight as well, but I really love Hollow Knight, and I do Prepper, maybe the killer. I do plan to play Silk. Oops, I do plan to play Silk Song if it's ever released, but let's put it this way. Oh my god. Let's put it this way. I like platformers. They are a part of my identity, but not in the same level as horror media is. Does that make sense? And I tried roguelites. There are traps around here. I tried roguelites. I really like Hiskaring, the first one, which is being remade. Not sure if I'm going to play it because I have a million things to do, a million games to play already. And I mentioned before, maybe, I don't know if I mentioned. If I didn't, I will now. Where is the trapper? If I didn't mention it before, I will mention now. There is this game called Road of... Okay. Trapper has a perk that makes skill thingies smaller. Forgot the name. The game is called Road of Horror. 2 words I can't speak properly because English. It's inspired by Junji Ito. Oh my god, please. Where is the killer? Why? Hello? Am I blind? We need to find pallets. By the way, not sure if you noticed, if you are watching the video since the beginning, I get more comfortable the more I speak on the mic. The beginning of the video, I'm sure, is probably kinda of rough. Okay, anyways. The game is called Road of Horror. It's inspired, not based, inspired on the works of Junji Ito, a Japanese mangaka who makes pretty much only horror mangas. A very popular one is called Trapper, you can't stay near me. A very popular one is called Uzumaki, and there is also Tommy. Thank you. There is another popular one, in short, it's a very short story, is The Enigma of Amiga da Fault. And I am forgetting, and there is Gil. Don't know if Gil is that popular, but Gil is weird. I'm not the biggest fan of Gil. But anyways, it's inspired by Junji Ito and H.P. Lovecraft, and probably a lot of other things. At least that's how my game is. It's inspired by a million different things. And my point is, I forgot the point. Oh, I remember the point. I have not bought the game yet because even though I told you I came to the I came to understand I do like horror. I am not too confident on buying the game yet because I bought many games in the past 10 years, mainly on Steam, and didn't really play them, you know. I didn't buy them just because they were on sale. I bought them because at that moment my brain convinced me that I liked that kind of game. I was obsessed with the idea. I was hyping up the idea of the game. And many of these games I am talking about are roguelites. I do like Risk of Rain 1, like I said 10 minutes ago. I like Risk of Rain 2 as well, not as much. I like Nuclear Throne. To me, it's the best roguelite. No questions asked. I like Enter the Gungeon, but I think Exit the Gungeon it's awful. I do not like Skull, the Hero Slayer. Binding of Isaac has a lot of qualities, but I don't like toilet humor. It's not for me. And yeah, roguelites. It's not going to surprise you if I say I consider making my game into a roguelite. Now, imagine for a moment, if you know anything about game development, imagine one person trying to make a game with a cohesive and somewhat ambitious storyline. And somewhat ambitious storyline and beautiful art, because I am an artist, and this might bother some people, but when I say I am an artist, I mean I make my own art. I don't use AI and stuff. Okay, so yeah, imagine making a game ambitious and adding roguelite elements. It's too much ambition. But when I was sort of obsessed with roguelites, making the game like a roguelite was the only thing I could think about. That's the thing with obsessions, you know. Now with the medication, thankfully my mind is clearer. I can understand that I do like platformers, do like roguelites. I do like some fighting games I played when I was a teenager, like the King of Fighters 97, 98. I do like, what else, man? I like many RPGs, but at the end of the day, what my game needs, what the story needs, is to be an horror game thematically and an RPG / visual novel, because story. And that's the kind of decision I couldn't make before. Okay, I'm sorry if I am taking too long to get to the point, but I'm not used to making videos, let alone this kind of video. I did try making videos many times. As a matter of fact, if I don't forget, I will make a playlist called My Past Failures. 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 Um. Okay. The game doesn't want me to play anymore. I will make a playlist called My Past Failures, and I will link it in the description and probably put it on top of the video. You know, you have used YouTube before, you know how it works. But yeah, let me see the next point. Maybe in the future I should make a shorter version of this video, because I have been recording for 1 hour and a half. Nobody's going to watch this video. But it's okay, it's okay. I'm just happy to express my mind, my thoughts. Yeah, point 6 on my bullet list here is, it's not exactly a bullet point because I typed a lot, but here's what it says. I'm starting to understand that just because I watch a video or something, just because I find it cool, hype the hell out of it, it doesn't mean I have to engage with it. This happened so many times in the 2010s. Yep, and that is a lot of stuff I already mentioned before. And here is something that I have not talked about, but it's related. What the hell? The game? What happened to the game? Oh my god. What do I do now? Well, I'm going to keep talking, and I will edit the video and put some footage in the background, okay? Here's the thing. Even the thing about being a game dev, and I mean game dev specifically, I used the term game dev and not game developer, and there is a reason for that. The reason is, I'm still making my game. It's called Pokémon. I can tell you that for sure because there is a Steam page, it's registered, and so on. It's the name, it's an official name. You know, it's not something I know I may change my mind 2 weeks from now, and this video is not going to make any sense when someone watches it. But okay, I'm still making Pokémon, and if everything goes well, if people receive it well, and more importantly, if finishing Pokémon and releasing it fulfills me as a person, as a creator, as a creative person, I absolutely will make more games, maybe a sequel. I did say my game is ambitious. I already have, let's put it this way. I am writing the story of the game in a way that once you finish it, you are satisfied with the story. Maybe you are not happy with the ending. I can't promise anything, but I'm promising only that the story will have a beginning and an end. But I'm also writing it in a way that I can expand the game. I can expand and make a sequel. I would love to make a sequel, but yeah, not sure if I will be able to. Yeah, but back to the point. Even though I might make more games, I don't consider myself a game dev. You know, I consider myself to be a storyteller, an artist, and I think that's a distinction. You know, I'm not saying games aren't art. Games can be art. You know, so long as you are making the game yourself instead of using some cursed AI program. But anyways, I love discovering more and more about the world of Vaporfly. I love my characters. I really do love my characters. And I love that Vaporfly is a game. No, I think it works better as a game than as a comic or manga or anime cartoon. No, I don't have any doubts about using RPG Maker anymore. I had in the past, you know, because I guess I listened to people who said not a real engine somehow, even though some of the most interesting games I have seen in the past years are made with RPG Maker, such as Omori, Fear and Hunger, I think it's RPG Maker as well, and Lisa, the Painful, Lisa the Joyful, Hylix, you know, Helen's Mysterio Castle. There are many, you know. Not counting non-RPG games like Madfather, Isao, what else? I'm forgetting now the name of the game. That's To the Moon, but that's not the game I was thinking about. But anyways, that idea that RPG Maker is not a real engine doesn't matter to me. Maybe it isn't. I don't care. I'm not interested in learning coding. I don't want to use Godot, Game Maker, Unity. I don't want to keep learning because I started learning GDScript, which is the language for Godot. I don't want any of that. I want to spend the time I have on the story, on interesting scenarios, set pieces, character development, beautiful visuals for my game. If that means I have to use an engine that makes the actual programming easier, so be it. And that might not have anything to do with taking meds for ADHD, but it's my experience, you know, because I had many doubts before. Probably because of the many thoughts. So yeah, I am a work in progress. I should probably have brought some water because I am babbling for almost 2 hours without drinking zero water. Yeah, so yeah, I am a work in progress, but I am finally learning who I am, who Dr. Bunny is, you know, and that's exciting. I mean, progress is slow, but one step at a time. I mean, at least I know who my favorite Pokemon is. I know that I love horror. I know that hopefully next year I will make a cosplay for the first time. I am thinking of cosplaying as Zarina from Dead by Daylight, the very game I am playing right now. One second. I mentioned that I couldn't respond to questions like what's your favorite whatever film, movie, film or movie, same thing, film, anime, manga, game, but that's changing. And as an exercise, I could tell you favorite game, probably Majora's Mask. Doesn't have that much story. And I do love story, but it's a game that really left a mark in my life. I love the atmosphere, I love the world. It's very melancholic. It's not quite an horror game to me, but it's close enough. I love Silent Hill 3. I love Silent Hill 2 as well, but there is something about 3 that I love more. In terms of films, I love Scream. Horror films in particular. Hey Nuss. The exercise isn't going too well because I am struggling to tell you my favorite horror film. Outer Screen. Even though I like quite a few. I mean, I like The Fly, the 8th version of The Fly. I like Ready or Not, the 2019 film. I mean, I like Aliens, you know. It's just those aren't quite favorites. Same for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I can watch those films and enjoy them, but I just don't love them to the point of calling them favorites. Can I even hear myself? Yeah, that experiment did not go well. Oh, wait, I have... Oh, I need a locker. Yeah, that experiment didn't go so well. Maybe in the future I'll make a video about my favorite horror movies and more horror stuff in general. Another thing that has been changing is that I am making friends. I am making new friends. Oh, I left. Didn't really want to leave, but okay. I mean, most of the friends I have or had, they approached me first, you know, and I am trying to change that, and it's surprisingly easy right now. I mean, I still feel anxiety, but it's not like before. Let's say I see one person on some Discord server and I want to talk to them for some reason. Before, you could find me, hello, you could literally find me overthinking for days, pumping myself up, hyping myself to finally be able to actually talk to the person. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I just said, I do feel anxiety. It's just not as crippling as it is when I am not medicated. And that to me is one of the biggest blessings. But yeah, let me just finish this match, and I am going to make a quick, too long, didn't watch version of the video, and maybe put the too long didn't watch version in the beginning, because yeah, it's almost 2 hours of video. No one needs to watch that much video. Oh, she can see me. No one needs to watch that much video to know the effects of ADHD medicine on the life of someone. Okay, since I already talked about the before and the after, let me just escape the nurse for a moment. Okay, 1 second. Oh, I completely forgot to mention. I did talk about overeating before the medicine, and that really medicine has been helping me a lot, because would you believe me if I told you my weight was 85 kilos until about 1 month and a half ago, and my weight now is 77 kilos. No, nurse, no. That's because scientifically speaking, probably something to do with the dopamine. That's part of the point of the medicine. It's to fix the dopamine and stuff. and I just don't feel like eating all the time, you know. I eat in the morning, I have breakfast, I have lunch, and I have dinner, small portions, and I am satisfied. Um, yeah, I don't even feel the need to snack between uh, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and so on. But I think just the fact I'm not eating all day long makes all the difference. Before 2019, which is when I started gaining a lot of weight, I weighted 63 kilos, I think. Oof. So from 63 to 85, it's quite a lot. My hope is to go back to 65, maybe 63, if possible. But I plan to stay in a healthy weight for my height and age, which I need to consider as well. So yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is I talked about the before. I talked about the after, but I haven't talked about what hasn't changed. Well, I still suffer from anxiety, like I mentioned before, I think. I didn't expect anxiety to go away with ADHD medication, because there is medication specifically for anxiety. But the reality is that a lot of the anxiety I used to feel was because of the ADHD. So in a roundabout way, the ADHD medication affected my anxiety. It just didn't get rid of it completely. So little by little, I am finding the strength to fight against the anxiety. Case in point, in this very video, assuming I didn't remove during editing, I played Killer. And if you watch the playlist or just check it out, the My Past Failures playlist in the description, you will see that I tried to make videos of this game. I tried to play Killer. I couldn't. The anxiety took over my body. I wasn't having fun. It was awful. And now I had fun. I didn't kill anyone, but I didn't play well, but I had fun. And this very video is me fighting my anxiety for 2 hours, or how long this video will be after editing, but regardless, I have been recording for roughly 2 hours. What hasn't changed as well is that I still can't play games. I still can't play games. and I think it's related to what I told you about engaging with so many genres of games through the years, trying to find myself, trying to find what I liked, what I disliked, and failing over and over again. So I think I kind of internalized some sort of mini trauma, and I can't bring myself to play the game. Exception being Dead by Daylight, and I don't even play it as much as I wish I did. You know, I mentioned the game, the horror game based on, inspired by Junji Ito. Yeah, haven't bought it yet. Because I am afraid I'm going to buy it and not play the game. No. I have right now installed in my computer on Steam Dark Souls Remastered. Already played the original many times, but I want to play the remastered version. Never finished it. I'm very well aware that they didn't change anything. It's just a better part of the game, so to speak. I have Steins Gate, the visual novel, Resident Evil Remake, and Dead by Daylight, which I am playing right now. And that's a fight I have to win. I want to win. Maybe I will come to the realization that I don't like games anymore, but I don't think that's the case, because I have fun playing Dead by Daylight. But that is something still holding me back. Another thing that hasn't changed, I can't read. I mean, I can read a manga, right? But usually a manga with a medium amount of dialogue. I like good dialogue, but here is an example. Tokyo Ghoul had so much dialogue, so much text. It's a little tiring. I can't read that. At least not. I mean, I can read like one chapter tonight and another tomorrow, but not one after the other. Like I did with Jujutsu Kaisen. I read pretty much everything in a week. Everything released up to that point. But I can't read books. I have a Kindle. I have everything from Edgar Allan Poe. I have read some of it, but not enough. I have a bunch of stuff from H.P. Lovecraft. Nope, can't read. I have it. Not sure if I want to read it, because there is some really awful stuff in that book. But as someone who is writing horror, I don't want all of my inspiration to come from games, films, and manga. I want to know more about books. Books have been around for much longer, but I can't. And also, I want to read the story, the second part of the story my good friend Baby Cowland has written. It's really good. He's a good writer. I am still curious about what happens to some of the characters, but I can't. It bores me. Maybe I just don't like reading. But I do like reading manga, visual novels, so I don't know, man. I really don't know. And by the way, my friend is very good at writing horror. He might not like horror, but he knows what he's doing. And lastly, before I make a too long didn't watch, the negative sides of taking medicine, specifically Ritalin, which is the medicine I take. First, is the lack of appetite. If you are thin, very thin, or you just love eating, I'm sorry. Maybe maybe it wouldn't happen to you, but it's a very real possibility that you will not have the appetite to eat as much as you did before. To me, it's a blessing. I'm just putting it the negative sides because I know it might be for other people. And the real negative is the medicine is affecting my sleep. I already struggle to sleep properly. I'm not good at sleeping, and it's part of the reason I want to get tested for sleep apnea, just in case. But my sleep is definitely worse since I started to take Ritalin. And here's the thing, I could try a different medication. Beginning of 2024, I have a appointment with my psychiatrist. I could ask him to change me from Ritalin to Concerta or to Vinvance. But it's working, you know, it's working. The only the only negative side is my sleeping is not going so well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start working out. Working out is good for a million reasons, but the fact my body will get tired, not only mentally because of my work is exhausting mentally, but because it will tire my body as well. Maybe I will be able to sleep after working out and having a cold shower. And I will also take some vitamins, the same vitamins my endo prescribed to me way before I knew I had ADHD. And maybe in the future I will make a sequel to this video, tell you if Ritalin is working for me, if it's still working for me. Hopefully my English will be a little better by then, because I know it's not perfect. And I don't think Ritalin is going to stop working. From what I researched and asked my psychiatrist, this kind of medicine is not really supposed to build resistance, but you never know. I might have to change medicine in the future. So in the future, I will tell you what happened. I will tell you if I lost more weight. Hopefully I did. I will most definitely, before I make another video on the topic of ADHD, I will have made a video about my game. So yay! And the takeaway from this video is that I was on a path to self-destruction again. I was suicidal, and I can't say this word because I'll probably have to censor. Thanks YouTube. But anyways, I was suicidal when I was a young adult. I tried to take my life. I went to therapy because I loved my dog so much. I didn't want to hurt my brother. I didn't want to hurt my aunt, my mother. And therapy helped, but it didn't make me love life. It only made me not want to die. It made me want to try things before giving up. You see? And I tried things, and slowly I failed at things more and more. The failures started piling up on top of each other, and ADHD didn't help. I couldn't understand why I was failing, what was happening, what I wanted to do. The fact I was going from my mid-20s to my 30s, and I am 33 right now, didn't help, because I felt like, damn, if I don't do something, I will be 40 years old and have achieved nothing. Nothing in my life, zero. And that's not the life I want for me, you know? And I was heading directly to that kind of life again. And maybe that's just me being pretentious. Maybe it's the horror writer in me, but I think once you crawl out of a pit of darkness like that, if you fall in the pit again, it's very difficult. If it's very unlikely that you will be able to crawl out. You know, it will take the triple the effort, and it already took a lot of effort the first time. So I am happy that my life isn't perfect. It isn't what I want yet. I have a long way to go, but I am happy that I can do things. I can use the hands I have, the two functioning hands I have, the feet I have, the eyes I have to see. I have two eyes that work almost perfectly. Two eyes that are staring at the Dead by Daylight login thingy for 10 minutes. You probably are not seeing that because I hope I edit the video, but still. I have my ears, my hearing works, my brain mostly works. I'm happy. I don't feel like death every day. I don't feel depressed when I go to sleep, because I know the next day I will lay in bed doing absolutely nothing, while other people are out there chasing their dreams or just trying to survive, because I know not everyone has the luxury chasing that dream. And I have the luxury of chasing my dream, and for a decade I couldn't. But things changed and I am happy. So if you are watching this video for some reason still, and I release this video tonight. It's Halloween for me, and right now it's Halloween. Have a nice Halloween. If not, have a nice week, a nice life, nice everything. And I will see you the next time.